Welcome back, Bonnet Heads. Well, you're here. You made it. Was it tough waiting a week? We're here for part 2 with our conversation with Melissa Gilbert, and I am here with my hashtag imaginary boyfriend, Dean Butler in LA. And here with me in New York City, where did she go? Our prairie bitch, Allison Arngrim.
There she is.
I was under the table, look.
This is dangerous, the two of us here together. Danger zone right now. Yeah. Today, we will continue our conversation with Half Pint herself, Melissa Gilbert. Last week, we looked at her life in the series, and this week, we drill down on some of her favorite episodes and moments on the series. From the studios of UBN Go in Burbank, California, this is a special event podcast. This is Little House 50 for 50. Welcome back, Melissa Gilbert.
Well, such a pleasure to be back. Thank
you. All right. So part 2 of our conversation, we're going to start talking about episodes, perhaps favorite episodes. Dean, you did a whole rundown on the internet of rankings of favorite episodes.
Yeah. So, listen, this is not scientific stuff. This is anecdotally fan-driven, poll-driven. But I thought it was interesting just as a way to jumpstart the conversation. And, and I quietly wrote to Melissa and said, just be thinking about your favorite episodes, because really, look, we don't need to go through what Ranker thinks and what Episode Ninja thinks are the favorite episodes. Melissa, let's just get into this. When you look at the series as a totality, because people always talk about this, what are the episodes that really define and make Little House what it is, what it was, and what it is for so many people?
Well, I think it starts with the pilot. It's the greatest television movie I've ever made. And the fact that it opens and for, 5 whole minutes, maybe even more, there's not a line of dialogue.
It's crazy.
Narration. It's insane. It's not even music. It's just a wagon. And then wind, and then and then the mob pulling the thing, and the dog, and the water, and the wind. And it sets the tone for what you're about to experience with these people so brilliantly. And I thought Michael, I talk with my husband, who's an amazing director, about this all the time. It is one of the best directed movies for television ever made in the history of television. No question. And for me personally, the intimacy of shooting that episode was magic, because it was just us. It was just that little core family. So by the time we came into the series, we were pretty bonded. So the pilot episode for sure. I think Country Girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, it sets up the town and sets up the relationship with Nellie so brilliantly. And you get to know who everybody is and where they fit in. You know what Miss Beadle is about. You know what the other kids are about, whose allegiances are to whom, whose alliances are to whom, and I think it's really, really beautiful. And it definitely shows you where everybody's kind of going to go and who their allies are going to be. Like, Miss Beadle is totally in Laura's court from jump.
Well, and that Laura is totally enamored of Miss Beadle too. She always talks about this when we're out. It's the way you looked at her that she absolutely was knocked out by. The way you looked into her face. And I think you had a wonderful way of looking at Karen too. You looked at Karen and it's like, you've told me this is the most beautiful woman in the world that you've ever seen.
I couldn't stop staring at both of them. And I still think they're stunningly beautiful, but Charlotte Stewart with the braids and the curves in her costume. Talk about bumps.
Yeah. She's great. Quite the package, no question.
She was so sweet too. She just instantly, I remember when we were shooting Little Girl.
Uh-oh, do we freeze Melissa? Oh, maybe she'll come back.
I froze. I'm sorry. I know what I was saying. That happens.
Miss Beadle.
Okay, so I remember Little Girl Lost, which is not on my list of episodes because I don't know. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. But when we were shooting that episode, the whole soundstage was pitch black dark for the night stuff. And they had like the lights in the center. So everything around it was just dark, dark, dark. And I was out of school and everybody was so focused and so busy. And I have this memory of Charlotte because I was kind of standing off by myself and kind of, I don't know, not pleased about something. She came over to me and she put her arm around me and she said, come on, let's go for a walk. And we started walking in a circle on the length of the whole soundstage. And she'd take a step and she'd say, big honey, and I'd take a step and say, little honey, big honey, little honey, big honey, little honey. And that's how we walked around. And by the time we did one full circle, whatever funk I was in was gone.
How great. She still has that quality about her. I mean, Charlotte is just, I think, a force of nature in the most lovely way. She always is. And she's just such a cheerleader for everybody and sweet and willing. And she's great.
Yeah, and she's wicked funny.
Yeah, yes, she is. Yes.
Lane. That thing in Country Girls where Laura doesn't know how to read yet, and Miss Beadle teaches her, and it's like, and this whole story is about this woman who wrote these books, and this is who taught her to read, and it's like shudders, goosebumps.
Yeah, that's probably the inspiration for Laura becoming a teacher. And between that and Ma. Mm-hmm. Of course, there was nothing else to become as a woman back then, but really.
Your options were limited. Yeah, no question.
Fairly limited, yeah.
Yeah.
But also how that episode set up your relationship so beautifully, how much we hated you so much.
So quickly.
So quickly.
The devil child.
Embittered. How does a child that young get that bitter?
Funny. Oh my God.
But we're all Laura in that episode because we're fighting you inside ourselves with you.
It's her total POV, so you're like it's happening to you as you're watching it.
And it's amazing how quickly and brilliantly it was set up right from the first scene. Done.
Well, in that episode also, I think one of the other wonderful dynamics that's established is the mother-daughter relationship. And, that selfless thing that the way it was written for Karen to have this fabric to make this beautiful dress for herself and realizing that the girls' dresses were too short and she transforms this beautiful fabric into two dresses, a dress for Mary and a dress for Laura. And as we celebrated Mother's Day this last week, I've been talking to a lot of people over this last weekend about Mother's Day, and that episode always comes up as this wonderful, and Melissa, your adoring looks at Karen in those moments around that experience. That's lovely stuff.
Yeah, it really is. It was a beautifully, beautifully written episode. The quintessential moment in that episode for me is country girls don't even know what a blackboard is.
Thank you. I love that one. In my New York accent for some bizarre reason too. I sounded like Bugs Bunny from Brooklyn. Don't even know what a blackboard is.
Very good.
What else? So the pilot, Country Girls. What else stands? Well, you mentioned Little Girl Lost, but that's not. You say it's not on your list, but interesting. And then what else?
Well, I always my go-to is always The Lord is my shepherd.
Of course.
But because that is my always go-to, I think I should focus on some other ones that I like because I talk about it incessantly.
But it's a great episode.
It's a beautiful and again, another perfectly made. That's, to me, it's a two-part of it. It's another 2-hour movie. That's just gorgeous.
All of those two-parters are 2-hour movies. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. I think let's go forward a little in season 1. Christmas at Plum Creek, our gift of the Magi moment, gets me every time.
Of course. So
yeah, which then leads to, and it is a beautiful episode, but I really want to get to Bunny and the talking machine.
Because we have a T-shirt. Is it going to come up backwards? Oh,
Hold it up.
Oh, yeah, you can't see it.
Justice for
Justice
Bunny.
for Bunny.
We have the justice for
It'll be back
Bunny
on the merch
t-shirt.
shop very soon. Here we go. Justice for Bunny.
I love that. That's so cool. Those two, again, they felt like they should have kind of gone together. Or Bunny and the Race should have gone together.
Yeah.
Not Talking Machine. Although Talking Machine was sort of the precursor that set those guys up.
Talking Machine is the dream sequences where you're so guilty of her taking was it Talking Machine is that record you? That's what. But Music Box.
Music Box is the one with the dreams.
The dream sequences where you're in a freaking dungeon and then we hang you.
Yeah, exactly. You with the executioner's mask and the peppermint stick.
You were in a cart.
Dark stuff.
Gallows. You were the 12 and you were in a cart being taken to the gala.
Tough to be too concerned about someone really getting it when they've got a peppermint stick in their hand. I mean, the peppermint stick takes the edge off of that. You know?
I think the peppermint stick
Stuck
makes
out.
it. I think the peppermint stick makes it more evil.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay.
The ring stuck out of the hood, and then the peppermint. It was really wrong.
I mean, it was
so wrong.
hilarious and sadistic at the same time. Totally.
I don't know. I had like that crazy sort of borderline 60s Buffanti Planet of the Apes lady hair too in those scenes. They made my hair like this giant teased out. I looked like some kind of baby Bridget Bardot creature. I don't know what that was about. And they even gave me pretty dirt.
It was lovely dirt. And that little raggy dress.
the Fuller's dirt was nice.
Fuller's Earth was kind of pretty, kind of highlighted my cheekbones. And I remember my mom saying, you look a little bit like a really pretty sexy gypsy, which is weird.
I will say, anytime we saw the ladies with their hair down was a very special episode because we rarely saw it, and when we did, it was really like, oh, their hair, like, whew, their hair is gorgeous, and y'all had gorgeous hair. You had gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I think Karen's moment in The Handyman, where Gil Gerard comes to the door, I think is one of the sexiest moments in the series ever. She wrote about what was going on in her life. Oh, well, okay. The chemistry was real, dude. Okay. I did read the book, but I just didn't remember. I don't remember that part.
The popcorn was popped. Let's just put it that way.
All right,
there was no Bible reading that night.
There was no kernel left over.
Okay.
I have a question. So many of the episodes, some of the early episodes, Talking Machine, Country Girls, and in fact, Bunny, it was very much about a boy. All of the fighting that we did, it was Jason, Johnny Johnson, and then later Almanza. The whole thing with Bunny was because it was Johnny Johnson. And then Jason was the whole thing with the talking machine. All of this stuff we were doing was all weird, romantic jealousy over a boy. And usually a boy is like, and I didn't even like them. I just wanted them because you wanted them and kind of thing. But it was weird that it was like that much romantic fighting. And we were, 12 and 10. Like what?
Well, it's fantasy stuff. It's just it's Tiger Beat magazine. It's all of that stuff. It's pretty harmless.
She's back. I thought she was just staring horror.
I know.
No, I froze for a minute. Yeah, I was just staring because I was so upset. It was I think it's that kind of boy crazy fighting over boys thing is also low hanging fruit for a writer. That stuff's easy to write about because it's so universal and it's happened for millennia. And so, easy as pie. Notice that we didn't fight over Luke.
No, you didn't want Luke the pig farmer? He was very nice.
I don't know why I didn't want Luke the pig farmer, but I guess I was happy to let you have him.
He was a good kisser. He's a lovely boy.
Oh.
He's like 27, but
I know. All these.
What is with all these grown-ups with us children?
So crazy. It's crazy.
It's just a little less time in school.
Right. You have to go to school.
My God. Yes.
What else? What else stands out? So jumping forward a little bit.
Yeah, because we have the Edwards era, the Garvey era.
Oh, the Garvey era, the Cheaters is a wonderful episode. That's a
The
terrific
Cheaters is a good one. The Wolves was fun.
Which was Patrick's first episode. Some fun things with Patrick. Yeah. Some fun things with Patrick. A little history.
Didn't
with
he replace someone? I think there was another actor.
There was, and that kid was gone in a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said the kid complained about the lobster.
Oh, that's right. It was over the lunch. It was over the catering. That's funny. And gone. Wow.
That is so insane. That is so unbelievable. That first of all, that a kid would complain about the food, but that a kid would get fired for complaining about the food. I thought he didn't know his lines too, though. I think he didn't know his lines on top of it.
Well, that would be the real problem.
Remembers. He wasn't doing anything. He was like in the church because do we remember him? We do not. So sad. But our food was like really good.
Pretty good, yeah.
And you don't always get that level of catering. So I think the idea of saying this food isn't good enough, I'm like, where was this kid eating? Because
yeah, right.
Commissary? Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to throw out an episode that I think is really special because of sort of just the social overtones. I think The Wisdom of Solomon is a wonderful episode.
One of the best. One of the best and most important. And clearly, because it still resonates. And if you guys remember, during that summer of 2020, when there was all the racial unrest going on across the country, all of a sudden on social media, I'm reading quotes. People are putting up clips of The Wisdom of Solomon. Like Alfre Woodard and Denzel Washington.
Snoop Dogg was the one that
Snoop Dogg.
And it went bananas.
Yeah.
It was
so
crazy viral.
There you go.
What's interesting about that episode is that you could never make that episode the way that they did it. The language that they used.
Could you do it?
Oh, no, I was really uncomfortable too. And it was one of the few times that I really balked at doing something. And I told Michael, I said, I don't want to rub the color off his face and say it's real. You're a real Negro person. I don't. And he said to me, listen, we're trying to make a point about acknowledging our differences and teaching people who don't consider people of color their equals that they are. So I need you to take the journey so people see you go from wow to, oh, of course, he's my friend. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, that's okay then. And I did it, obviously. Yeah.
Well, and
but I really didn't like it.
Well, and Todd Bridges was wonderful. I mean, what's the exact line? He said, if you could trade places with me, would you? Or if which would you choose? Would you want to be a black man and live to be would you want to be a white man and live to be 50 or be a black man and live to be 100? Yeah. Yeah. And you wouldn't trade places with me. He basically.
And he had no answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's those stories we told about anti-Semitism and racism and nativism and anti-Native Americanism and all of the isms that we tackled, chauvinism. I mean, the women walking out was all crazy.
Yeah.
So these were so that goes to the Sylvia two-parter and then the Albert barfing from heroin thing. Yeah. These are stories that needed to be told. They were important stories.
Yeah. I mean, I love those episodes, and the reason why I always sort of talk about them is because they're so shocking in their realness, actually, that it's sort of like no one else has ever done anything like that ever.
Right.
No one's done that.
Certainly not a show that can also do the Halloween Dream.
Right. And the thing was, and the reputation for us then was that it's such a lovely children's show. It's a little soft. It's like, did you see what we did?
Did you see the clown mask?
We're killing people and it's doing
people still don't know.
No, they don't.
People still don't know, and they'll watch it. Like at the Little House reunion in Simi Valley, I said, "Do you guys realize the stories we were telling?" And people went, what? And I said that, and I listed some of these stories, and they went, oh, that's actually right. And I think it's because we didn't tell them in an exploitive way. We told them in a very truthful, kind of prairie, honest way. It's really interesting because it's not this kind of squishy, soft family show at all. We had our moments, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you visit Simi Valley, California, you are stepping into the pages of history. Go from the pioneers to the presidents. Explore beautiful wildflowers, hike through iconic Hollywood locations, and end your day aboard the actual Air Force One at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Less than 15 minutes from Los Angeles and 30 minutes from Universal Studios, Simi Valley has small-town charm with big-time history. Go to visitsimivalley.com for more information.
Who else do we want to thank, Allison?
We also want to thank Cozy TV because, hey, we're on there. Road X, Modern Prairie. Modern Prairie. Price for the city of Simi Valley, of course. Adventist Health in Simi Valley. Thank you for your support of the Little House 50 for 50 podcast.
Well, I think of another show that was sort of trying to tread in the same territory. Like, I could never watch Touched by an Angel. I could never watch it. It just did not click for me at all. And yet I feel like they were, we're operating in the same territory here in a sense. But it was so cloying and so preachy. It was very, very hard to watch. We could get preachy too. I get that. We could get preachy, but there was a yin and a yang always in characters. And like Allison and Catherine existed to create the problem and the point of view that maybe was real, though not admirable, but real. And there was that counterpoint always with the Ingalls and that force, that presence for good in the world. And I think that's one of the reasons people love it, and you could forgive them. You always forgave them, and you could, and even Allison years later, you talk about the woman who walked up to you at the autograph show and, and said, "I forgive you." I mean,
I forgive you.
Yeah.
Ran away.
Yeah. But I think there was always this wonderful yin and yang. It was, there was reality to it. And it was also in this little island in the television world that was this beautiful, idyllic place, Walnut Grove, where you could sort of step into this other world and things happened in their own space there, and people could take the lessons they were going to take from it.
I mean, everyone knew these people, could identify with the characters. Yes. Everyone had a Nellie at their school, had a Mrs. Olsen there. But okay, you as a person who watched it, you went to this other world. Did you go there? Like, you felt safe. You went to Walnut Grove.
No,
to
absolutely.
Be safe.
And I used to have dreams of being in Walnut Grove. And that's why when we got, Chris Chaika and I got a personal tour of, the ranch when we were there in Simi Valley. And it was, you're there. And then when we got to the town center, that's when it hit me. And I just started bawling because I used to have dreams of walking out of school with my school friends, with you and with you. Maybe not with you, but with you.
Maybe you go the other way when you saw her.
Walking with your little lunch pail with your friends after school and walking down that street. And all of a sudden I was actually on that street. And that's also why, again, like we had that panel, and we've had an episode here before of Little House as a safe space. And it's true I think that's the universal theme of why it resonates with everyone. It's the Dolly Parton of TV shows. It resonates for every type of person, every economic scale, every race, every religion, and every country. And I think it's because we all feel safe there. It was a safe, loving, unconditionally loving place for all of us.
I was going to just quickly say, Michael knew that the show wasn't for everybody. And he was really clear about that. And Melissa, I'm sure you had these conversations with him. He very directly said to me, he said, "I know that there's a huge percentage of the audience that has no interest in what we're doing here. But," he said, I also know that there is another part of the audience, a huge, substantial part of the audience that loves what we're doing. And you're never going to be if you're trying to be all things to all people, you're going to be nothing to anybody, frankly. I mean, Michael knew who he was trying to talk to, and he knew how he was trying to talk to them. There was no ambiguity in how he was communicating with the audience.
No, none. And he learned how to do that doing a show that was wildly popular for many, 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 many years. Bonanza was a great training ground for him.
No question. Oh my God. Talk about, going to school and having a wonderful time doing it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, I'm particularly partial, Dean, you'll be happy to hear about this, to the older Laura starting romance, budding, epic, romantic episodes like, Sweet 16 is a banger. Come on, you guys. And He Loves Me, He Loves Me.
A banger?
Come on. Yes. Classic.
It is classic. Yeah.
I mean, of course you love it when you're a kid because you're
aspiring to that. Yeah.
Yeah, but when that sort of romantic, you're getting older, it also felt cathartic experiencing it with you, as a viewer, because we were growing up with you as well, even if it's, watching it on reruns or if you were watching it in real time. Did you enjoy doing those episodes, or was that like, he's a man and I'm uncomfortable?
I think by that time I just finally said, this is what it is, and we're going to make the best of it and have as good a time.
How great. I surrendered and we're going to make the best of it. No, I totally get it. I totally get that.
Basically, what I mean, I don't mean like I'm forcing myself to be there. I'm going to focus on the good things that are happening, and I'm safe, and I'm fine, and everything's fine. So let's just do this.
Yeah, no, right, exactly.
My grandfather sat me down when I was young, and my grandfather was one of the greatest comedy writers of all time, and
Harry Crane, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, and we were talking about the business and work. And I was telling him about someone I knew who had been complaining about their job. And my grandfather said, we're the luckiest people in the world to be in this business. You know what I do when I have a bad day? I sing Zippity Doo-Dah all the way to the bank. And
wow, that's good advice.
I heard him say that. And I literally, on days when I was having a rough time, in the back of my head, I would sing Zippity Doo-Dah. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm safe. I'm good. I'm earning. I'm happy. I'm not working at a post office. Yeah. This is a good.
Yeah. I always it always stuck with me that when you talked about you just were going to be the Laura you were supposed to be in those tough moments. I'm just going to be the Laura I'm supposed to be, and I'm going to push through this. And I think that was a great way to go, because Laura is such for everybody who loves it, is such an aspirational character. You have young women grew up wanting to be Laura because of I love the plucky and determined. I love that description. Yeah, that you as you describe the prairie folk, plucky and determined. Allison was a little bitchy, but plucky and determined, and did it so well too.
I don't think she was bitchy.
No, actually, bitchy's the wrong word. She was haughty. She was haughty. She was and loving it, twisting the mustache and loving it.
They called Good Morning America. It was I was Nemesis. You were plucky.
Yeah.
What then?
Karen was stalwart or something.
Well,
Karen was ethereal.
Like,
I mean, she just
great
was.
Names. I'm like, plucky, Nemesis.
Yeah, plucky and determined is what the prairie. And you always
plucky
brought
and determined that's the perfect description, and that's really kind of how I've been my whole life, and especially as a kid. So, things may have intimidated me at moments and made me uncomfortable back then, but I just worked through them. And like I said, and this is really important, as I never felt unsafe. Ever. And that's
that
a
is
really, really great
important.
thing to be able to say as a kid actor, especially at these times when we're hearing about all of the bad stuff that happened to so many.
No kidding.
Hell.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
That has been an overriding theme for everyone that we've talked to, is how safe and protected all of the kids were on that set.
Everyone was safe. And I think everyone was confident that what was being done, what we were going to be happy with it. We were going to feel good about what we were doing. And I think that permeated everything as fast as the material is coming. And it just was one really nice moment after another that we all got to experience.
Now, Allison and Dean, do you guys have favorite episodes?
I do, but I don't know that we have time. We may have to come back. Well, Allison, I've got to hear your favorite episodes because, if you have it's just a short list.
Bunny.
Like, yeah, bunny.
That's his kryptonite. That word.
Yeah. No, it's on my, it's on my list too. Bunny is absolutely on my list.
The music box, the torturing the stutterer, which, as I said, was the episode where I hate me because it was like this is too much. I'm going to be sick to my stomach because this is just like awful. And then of course because it had the dream sequences where we're in a dungeon and then
so maybe you were a little bit of a bitch in the talking machine.
Yeah, and then the talking machine.
Yeah,
and Victor French directed that, and that's one of my greatest performances because Victor French directed me and pulled stuff out of me during that talking machine episode. I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. It was I love that.
Oh, so and others that a couple of others that jump out for you?
Oh, what's the one? Fool's Gold. Where you have the fantasy that the Ingalls are rich and we're poor because they got
there was just too much. There was too much double knit. That white double knit suit that Michael was wearing. I'm sorry, I just didn't quite. Where are we going here? That didn't work for me.
Great.
The dream sequence. There was also a Disney castle in it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You're worried about the suit?
Yeah, well, but I noticed the suit. It just felt like it was just such a departure. With this milk white suit.
I got the Fuller's Earth cheekbones and a wart. I had a wart.
Well, that's good.
And my hair down and they would took Dippity Doo and Fuller's Earth to get, and then it was lovely. I had so much fun doing that. And you didn't want to take that dress off. You did not want to. Princess, and you went, I said, no, I'm not taking this off. Can I just wear this home? I said, you did not want to get out of that dress.
No, I loved the dress. I loved the hairdo. I loved my tiara. I loved everything about it. I had so much fun because really, all I ever wanted to be when I was little was a princess. So I was a prairie princess, and then I got to be a real princess for a day. And then also, if you recall, in the Apple Boobs episode, I got to be an antebellum princess and get bent backwards and kissed. Well, almost kissed and dropped, actually. Oh. So those were fun moments for me.
That episode is official titled Apple Boob.
Apple Boob.
Apple Boob. Yeah.
Dean, favorite episode?
I was just watching, in anticipation of this conversation, I was just watching something from season 5, I think it's season 5, the Toby No episode, that There's No Place Like Home, which is where people are coming to terms with their life and what kind of life do they want to live. And going back to Walnut Grove when they thought that they were going to find happiness in the city, or they needed to come to the city. And then you have all the wealth things, and people are despaired, but Nels wins a pot of money, and Harriet goes out and blows the dough on her wardrobe, and wealthy people are so jealous of the wealthy, and blah 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 blah. That was and I think one of the reasons I love it too is the first episode I watched during the summer that we were shooting. I had never seen an episode of the show when I started looking. Never seen a full episode. So I was home with my family watching, and I just remember, Melissa, maybe, and I didn't get that far this morning, but isn't there a moment where you're with Ray Bolger dancing down the road? So, right?
I don't have words for that. Because I, like everybody else, growing up at the time that we did, I watched The Wizard of Oz every year.
Every year. Yeah. We all did.
Every year. It was on once a year, and that was it. And I had the record. I had the vinyl of the movie, not just the music. Yeah. And I would put it on. This is in my house on Laurel Canyon. This is before Little House. I had the record on my Mickey Mouse suitcase record player with the Mickey Mouse arm that had the needle. And I would act out the entire movie in the bedroom by myself.
Wow.
I would do every role and sing all the songs and do all the musical numbers. So when he came to the set the first day,
I love that.
I was melting inside. But doing that, dancing with him there, and then dancing down a road.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. I just remember watching that moment as sitting there with my family eating dinner. And I just remember saying, oh my God, this is good. This is so amazing to be stepping into this. I can't believe how lucky I am to be stepping in. I was blown away by it. The music, the beautiful photography, Ray Bolger dancing with Melissa in this I can't remember David's cue. I couldn't hum it, but it was a lovely, lovely cue that you're dancing to. I mean, it's just, all of it just worked. Just, this is great. And so I love that.
Even wove in a little bit of, there might even have been a little bit of Wizard of Oz music.
Why not? Yeah, of course. Well, if he could work the stripper into Allison, in Mary, Here Come the Brides, he can get a little Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
We asked listeners to ask some questions for you, Melissa Gilbert. Here are a few of them. This one is amazing, and it's not so much a question as, well, I'll explain. So, Kathy Reed asks, I was fortunate enough to go to the Johnny Carson show in the late 70s. Melissa was a guest on the show. Johnny was out sick and Richard Dawson had filled in for Johnny. Unfortunately, that was also the same show that Della Reese was a guest on, and she had suffered a brain aneurysm right in front of the audience. The show was not aired on TV. Do you remember this at all?
No.
How bizarre.
Did it exist?
Did this happen?
I mean, I know Richard Dawson, and I feel like I was backstage with him at one point. I'm sure he sheltered.
Maybe you
frozen
didn't tell
again.
you.
It didn't tell you.
And I hate when I freeze in the middle of an answer like that. So I was there. I remember Richard Dawson. I knew him, lovely man. So I think I was there, but I think they probably sheltered me from whatever was going on, unless I was on the couch. But I don't think I was on the couch when she was on.
That was wild. I was like, what is happening there?
I'm Googling Della Reese brain aneurysm because I did not know this.
I didn't know it either.
Yes, her near-death experience inspired her to become an ordained minister.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I had no idea it happened on Johnny Carson, and neither did you, apparently. Yes, but they didn't
which has to make me reevaluate my take on Touched by an Angel because, that's...
Oh, jeez.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, another question. Barbie from Newport Beach, California wants to know, in the episode Ma's Holiday, Mr. Edwards feeds the girls rattlesnake. What were you actually eating?
I can tell you. Normally, we ate Dinty Moore's beef stew.
Right.
Yike.
That day, we ate Dinty Moore's chicken stew.
Oh.
Perfect.
Diverse.
That's all you
Got it.
You're nothing like...
We did not get nice roast beef dinners like you did at the Olsen house. We had Dinty Moore's and Kentucky Fried Chicken.
We had leg of lamb and mint jelly.
KFC. Could be worse. I take
Stop now.
Because you lived in the best house in all of Walnut Grove.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is true. Yes, I'm true.
My home.
It's the best home in all of Walnut Grove. And then how does it go after that?
My home's best in Walnut Grove. We have 6 genuine oil paintings. We have real lace curtains on all the windows and 6 genuine oil paintings. And all of our furniture is bought and not made.
Oh, store-bought, right.
I can't tell you how much it costs.
But a whole lot.
It's not nice to say how much things cost, but it costs dear, let me tell you.
It costs dear, let me tell you. I remember that so clearly.
I think we need. I think we need to go now because we need to figure out how we're going to start this episode too.
I'm doing one more.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Casey asked, "Did you ever think, why does my character always turn around and run away?"
They're running away.
You did. You
Why
got
does my
all of
character-
your steps in.
Apparently, Laura, as I played her, never learn to walk. She just crawled and ran. And so basically all I did was run. And you notice generally when I am running, I'm also crying. So there's a lot of running and crying. Running and crying and running and crying. And one of Michael Landon's favorite tricks to play on me
of course.
was to have me run away from the camera and then whisper cut and watch me keep going.
That also seems to be the theme for all the kids who had to run away.
Everyone tells those stories. Yeah, no question.
So much running on the prairie. Okay.
Well, you don't want to stop either because you don't want to get in trouble and ruin the show.
No,
So
exactly.
Exactly.
You're trusting him to say, you're good, and he's not saying it, so you got to keep going.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll stop asking the questions, even though we have tons more.
There's so many questions.
We'll come back at some point, and
I'll just have to come back. That's all.
Melissa, we'd love to have you come back and talk about all kinds of things that you're involved in, and more Little House
and Modern Prairie.
About the pie play.
Yes.
I tell about pie play and the tea towels.
Tea towels, pie play. Oh my gosh, there's so much now. I'll talk about Modern Prairie. I mean, you can tell I'll tell your listeners / viewers / fans. Just go to www.modernprairie.com and you'll see it all right there.
There it is.
No, come back here and hear it here. Don't go there. Come back here and hear it here.
Yes.
No, of course, go to Modern Prairie.
Hear it here, but then go to Modern Prairie.
Yes, and then here. Yes, of course.
Come back here.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Between this podcast and my website. That's all you need.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's awesome.
And read Dean's book.
Oh, and that's coming, and and I'm recording the audio now, and it's just like, oh my God. Yeah, fun.
There it is.
And there it is.
There we are. So, listen, thank you for that. Thank you for that little moment. So, Pamela, take us out and let's fly.
Okay.
And you have to help us.
If you want to get in touch with us, please go to our socials, Little House 50 podcast. You can go to our website, littlehouse50podcast.com, and you can get up to date with what we're all doing, what Melissa's doing, listen to our episodes, and please like and subscribe. And also, we have a nice new look, and hope you guys all enjoy it. Melissa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Melissa.
That's awesome. And please do airplane arms with us.
We're going to do airplane arms,
Okay, but you're not supposed to say airplane.
I know.
So what is it? Birds?
He has been doing birds.
It's a bird. That's what Michael told me to tell everyone, that planes weren't invented. It's a bird. It's a bird soaring.
Yeah.
Yep. There it is. Here you go, Bob. Get the wind. Yay!